Hey there, just thought I'd do a short video on the risk and safety within using automations on LinkedIn. Now, obviously you have to be quite careful as you don't want to get your own account banned, and similarly, you don't want to get any of your clients' accounts banned. This is incredibly important. So it really does pay to do your due diligence in understanding how to behave on LinkedIn and behave in a way that's appropriate and within human limitations. So I've got 4 things that I'm going to cover today. And if we want to go into the last one, which is going to be on the human element, please stay till the end. But for the most part, I will start today on the limits and rates. Now, there are actually many pages on this. Unipile actually has its own one on, here we are, provider limits and restrictions. And it does tell you the limits that are available for paid and then of course for free accounts as well. And it has it for every single aspect that you could be performing on a LinkedIn profile. Now, what it doesn't mention on here, which is incredibly important, is warming a profile up. For example, it says here on a paid account that you can do 80 to 100 invitations per day. And for a free account, you can do 150 invitations per week without adding a note. I will tell you now that if you go straight to this amount on a profile that has had no prior activity, it'll likely get it banned. You could probably go straight to this if you activate premium, because they would signify that as you doing something on your account and be like, okay, this person is taking activity on your account, so it makes sense that they have increased their invitations, so therefore this would be seen as all right. But if you're just doing it on a free account, they're more than likely going to restrict how much you can do fairly quickly. You'll probably get to max 5 invitations per day, and then maybe after a few months you could probably increase that to 10, but it would take a while to get there. On the paid ones, even if you could do 80 to 100 invitations per day, I personally wouldn't. This is a ridiculous number to be sending out on one individual profile. Realistically, anywhere between 10 to 15 a day, you should be getting enough business for yourself, and then some, if your profile is set up in the correct manner. And to be transparent, you could probably only get this amount if you were to be paying the sales nav option, which is $70 a month. So best to warm up your profile beforehand. I would spend probably the first few weeks, if you're going from no activity at all whatsoever, the first few weeks I'd be doing between 5 accounts per day. Then after a couple weeks, I would then increase that to 10. And then maybe after a month or 2 months, you could probably increase it to 15 per day, but you wouldn't really need to go above that. And you shouldn't really see it as necessary. If transparently you're not getting any calls in the diary from sending out that many messages per day, it probably is something to do with your own profile, how it looks, probably something to do with your messaging, probably something to do with what you're doing in the follow-ups, how you're applying to people. So this is all within limitations, and of course warming up. So these are the first 2 things that I would do to make sure that myself and my clients' accounts that I work on do not get restricted, and that there is a healthy relationship between this automation and the LinkedIn account that it is being acted on. Next, we have to randomize everything. And the way we do that is twofold. One, of course, the timings are set off to occur at random intervals every single day. So that already creates a random interval. But also, we do it on the action that has been performed on LinkedIn as well. So this is, for example, getting the provider, so finding out the profile. And here, I've set the math to be random, so it will going off anywhere between 3 and 6 seconds. This will mean it will behave in a more human-like manner and will allow it to seem if it's behaving as you and not as a robot that is sending a message or a connection request or checking a profile at the exact amount of time every single time. We want to keep this looking as human as possible And again, within the limitations that are set out by. And then lastly, what we have is, of course, the human element. I mentioned this briefly at the start. And the reason for this is that you can't let this system go full auto. You can, but it is very unlikely to land and close and secure the business that you want. Ultimately, you need to be going in and checking your account or checking your client's accounts every so often and viewing them to see if certain messages are working, if the replies are coming in, who's ignoring them, who's saying yes, who's saying no, refining the search down so you're getting more down to the people that are actually going to be needing your product. Once you get a phone call with someone, you can already then ascertain, okay, this is the type of person that needs my product. What company do they work at? How can I find more of that company? And then you lock them down and you keep it going. Same for the replies. You need to be on top of the replies. So be that you have notifications on your phone set up so that when you get a reply, it comes up on your phone and you can act on it accordingly. Hopefully the sooner the better. Generally speaking, obviously you're doing work, so you may not be able to reply instantly, but generally speaking, you want to catch someone the moment they do reply because that's when they're active online. And in this case, you can get them booked in for a phone call. And this is the ultimate goal. And then once you've got them onto a phone call, it's down to you or down to your clients. Also, with regards to replying to the human element, this also can be within comments. Obviously, within this system, I have a way of commenting on posts and liking on posts. And actually, I do this the same after every single connection request over here. Every connection request, they'll get a comment and a like on all of their, and after every message, they'll also get a comment on their posts. And this obviously increases the chances of that person replying to me. And in this instance, we are increasing the chances of someone working with my client or with myself. But again, I want to be available. And if they reply with an interesting question, then perhaps I want to reply to that comment myself, or I want to at least engage in it with a like or something. And then I want to get them added to a list. In some instances, if they've replied to me via a message, I will of course get them added to a list. But if they've just replied to a comment of mine and I can see they're active and they do that multiple times in a row, then perhaps I add them to a different list, especially if they engage on my content, as they are someone that could help promote my content as well as me promoting theirs. So there's numerous strategies that you can employ once you start integrating it. This system essentially saves you a significant amount of time of having to do a lot of it manually, but it's still important to keep a strategical mind and allow yourself to be present with this system. So yeah, they're my 4 things, which I do to make sure that, 5 things almost, that I do to make sure my clients' accounts and my own accounts are successful with this LinkedIn automation system, which is, first of all, understanding the LinkedIn limitations, super important for you to do. Second, warm-up period. Make sure you have a warm-up period. Don't go from 0 to 100 straight away. Take your time, do some experiments, build it up slowly. Really important to do this. I would do 2 weeks, then 1 month, then 2 months. This is generally considered good practice. Randomize everything. Make sure everything has a random time on it so that nothing is happening at the exact same time every day. No human is perfect. No human would do their things at exactly the same time every day. We have things that distract us, be it a text, be it a TikTok video, whatever it may be. Human element, be present, be available. You must be checking the LinkedIn accounts yourself every so often. For all my clients, I do this daily, every single day. I'm checking them probably twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, just to make sure everything's running and that what I'm implementing is actually being successful for them. And yes, don't go full auto, because otherwise stuff could happen which may slip under the radar and you may not be capturing everyone in the best way that you can. There are strategies that you can implement which this system doesn't yet cover, and that you would need to create utilizing the various aspects of the system. It's all possible, but only if you're present are you going to be able to do this. Let me know if you have any questions. Is there anything you'd like to learn about with this system, or with regards to what I've spoken about. I'm more than happy to answer. If you're interested in getting this system yourself, it's currently on Gumroad for, I think, $9 still, depending on when you're watching this, but it will be in December going up to $18, and it will be doubling every month until I see a time that it no longer needs to. Otherwise, yeah, have a wonderful day. Thank you.